This video is brought to you by hoodbeast.com. Design your own custom hoodies. hoodbeast.com. We are beast.
What's up, everybody? It's Seth from Fowler Customs, and today I went sneaker shopping around Soho. The first place I stopped at was Concepts, and I've got to say, Concepts kind of blew me away. They really had a lot more than I expected. One thing that really surprised me is they had a lot of the Alexander Wang collection, and even that basketball pair that they made, which I hadn't actually seen in person. I also hadn't seen the gray pair of the skate shoes either, and that's actually my favorite colorway out of the 3 or 4 that I've seen. The Alexander Wang basketball shoes really weren't bad either. I actually like this colorway the best out of the 2. It's definitely a clean shoe. There's a lot going on, but I actually don't mind it. Then I went over to their main sneaker wall, and like I said before, they just really had a lot of stuff that I didn't expect. They had the Nike Air Force 1 Special Fields in the black and gum colorway, which I think looks great. It's not a shoe that you see sitting around very often, so I was really kind of blown away that they had it. They also had a lot of the Anikis, which I've actually seen sitting a lot of different places. The only colorway you don't see very often is that original blue and white colorway, the colorway that I had. It's definitely clean. It's definitely a nice look. The Anikis aren't my favorite silhouette because I really don't love the upper. I mean, it's not bad, but I just really prefer that sort of prime knit feel. I think it looks nice. It's just the feel on foot is not my favorite. I also really dig this black colorway. I think it looks really clean, and it's probably my second favorite after the blue pair. Also, I really want to thank Hoodbeast for sponsoring this video. If you guys are interested in creating your own custom hoodies, make sure to check out the link in the description below and use my discount code Fowler10. You get 10% off. But back to sneakers, something that's really been surprising me is that these CS2s have been sitting just about everywhere. When they first dropped, I couldn't find them online or even in store, but now it's like they're all over the place. They also had the premium Air Jordan 5s in this white colorway, which I don't think is a bad looking colorway, but there's no way I'm going to pay $400 for that shoe. Nike's been really pushing their luck with the $400 silhouettes. I just can't get behind it. It's way too much money for what you're getting, especially when it's good leather, but it's not great leather. Oh yeah, and then surprise of the day, I was walking past Stadium Goods and apparently Complex was recording Sneaker Shopping with Chris Rock. So that was kind of cool to see Chris Rock just chilling in Soho. It's actually funny, I've seen him twice. He was at SneakerCon last year and I gave his daughter a shirt. So that's not my first Chris Rock experience, but I've never met the man in person. I'm sure he's a normal, chill dude. I don't know. Next stop was Kith, which, as you guys all know, is one of my favorite sneaker stores, if not my favorite. They always have crazy stuff. As you can see, they still had a bunch of white mountaineering NMDs. They had the City Sock gum bottoms. The white pair is fire, but my problem with white shoes is in New York they get dirty so fast. It's kind of a problem for me in the new Yeezys, but still grabbed a pair. They also had both the Wings and Horns NMD collaborations. Both nice looking shoes. They're a little too understated for me, and I don't have a problem with understated shoes. There's something about them that, I don't know, it's not really my thing. But the materials were really nice. On that dark gray pair, it was like a suede, and on this pair, it's sort of like a woven mesh. Both nice shoes, but I'm not going to drop the money on them. They also had a crazy selection of Anikis, which is something that you've been seeing more and more often as they drop more Anikis out on the market. But they had just about every colorway. This blue and red colorway I actually kind of liked. I'm not a huge fan of the Anikis, and it's just a personal preference. But that colorway was kind of fire. They also had the Boost and the Prime Knit Stan Smiths, and as I said in a previous shopping vlog, a nice shoe, but I feel like they took it just a little bit too far. The biggest surprise of the day was the baby Yeezys. That's not something I'd expected to see, and it was kind of crazy to see Yeezys sitting because this was like, I don't know, Tuesday after a Saturday release. So seeing those, even though they're infant Yeezys, still kind of crazy. They also had the red suede ones, which are a really nice looking pair of shoes. I'm not a huge fan of them personally because I think it's just a lot of red. I was never really a huge fan of that Red October theme that went down a couple years ago, but not a bad looking pair of shoes, just not my taste. They actually had 2 other pairs of Yeezys. As you can tell, it was the Season 4 boots. It was the first time I had seen the Season 4 boots in person. They were really, really, really heavy. I'm assuming it's just that midsole being solid rubber. But I mean, they're nothing too crazy. They're like $500, which is way too much for me to be spending on boots, but I guess not a terrible looking boot. Next, I hit up the Adidas store in Howson, another go-to of mine. It's right next to Kith. They always have some pretty good stuff. They had a pretty decent selection of uncaged Ultra Boosts. They had the colors still. They also had a bunch of the new Pure Boost, which is really nice to see. Solid shoe. I think more people should grab it. I think it should be more hyped. It's definitely a great silhouette. They had the white and silver Ultra Boost that just dropped. It's got the silver midsole, which is different. They did it on a previous pair, and I'm not in love with it, but I don't hate it. I do like the streaks of silver that they have running through the upper. I think that's a really nice touch. Definitely a cool shoe. I went upstairs to the NMD section, and again, NMDs, man, they're starting to sit, which is great because now people who want them can actually get them. Like this pair of CS2s, which I never thought would sit, and now it's finally sitting all over the place, which is kind of crazy to see. A bunch of XR1s. I'm not a huge fan of that sort of linear pattern that they have on the uppers. I just think it's a little too busy, but that's just my personal preference. More Nikes upstairs, for sure. They had some EQTs. Unfortunately, none of the 9317s. A pair of shoes that I'm actually really surprised that I liked are these guys, these NMDR1s in this pink colorway. I think that's actually really sick. I mean, almost to a point where I was like considering pulling the trigger on them. And I actually really love this pair. I love the dark grays, and I love that pink Lego brick. I think it looks sick for sure. And next I hit up Chipotle because, you know, you got to fuel up somehow, and Chipotle is just the way to go for that. I actually ran into a photographer friend of mine too. He actually did the Fowler Customs logo. So check out Raised by Waves on Instagram if you guys are interested in his graphic design work. The next spot I hit up was the Adidas Original store in Soho, another awesome store to get Adidas from. They don't have any Ultra Boost because of course they're Adidas Originals, but they do have a great selection of everything else. In fact, a better selection than even Kith, I would say. They had just about every NMD available now. They had both of the gum pairs. They had all those R2s, every one of those colorways. They had the entire Alexander Wang collection. Apparently they had a silent restock, and I mean they had everything. It was crazy. Like this one, which is I guess the most popular out of them. I think it's the ugliest, to be honest, but it's the pair that, because it was the first, I think sold out the quickest. Interesting looking shoe. I think it looks like a medical sock, to be honest, but I guess it could be worse. Also, they had the skate shoes, and they had the black pair of AW runs. I think it's my favorite out of the three. But then, of course, I'm surprised again because they had the milled leather 9317s. This is a nice looking pair of shoes, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't pick them up because I just felt like they were a little too plain for me. They also had, again, the Gum Pack NMD CS1s. The black pair is fire. I can't get over how nice it looks. Like I've said in previous videos, right now I'm just kind of trying to save money for the trip to London, so I won't be picking this pair up, but I have picked up way too many pairs of shoes, to be honest with you. But seriously, a super nice looking pair of shoes. They had just about every size, which is crazy. But that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to Fowler Customs if you want to see more content just like this. And follow Fowler Customs on Snups, Instagram, and on Twitter.